Hey, what's up guys? It's Saturday the 8th of August, qualifying day for Formula One's 70th Anniversary Grand Prix, and I have just come home from my second day in a studio alongside Jolyon Palmer being lead commentator for the BBC. It's a dream job for me. I'm only standing in for Jack Nicholls, who's away on Formula E duty, but nevertheless it's something I'm taking very seriously, it's something I'm very, very proud of, and it genuinely is a dream job. Quite apt that we're here on this very special weekend celebrating 70 years of a sport that's completely changed my life in so many ways, from building a career through meeting my wife and therefore the children that came from that. So many ways. I'm sure it's the same for you, whether it's may not be building a career, but it may have been building a passion, a hobby that has changed your life in some way. Maybe as a family you all gather together every Sunday without fail to watch a Grand Prix. It touches the lives and changes the lives of so many. That's how special it is all across the world. And it's been brilliant this weekend. We've had so much to talk about. Both the on-track action, which actually has been really interesting. We're set up for a decent race tomorrow, I think, potentially. But also off-track. This weekend, fairly apt on the 70th Anniversary Grand Prix, we've got everything from politics and controversy to arguments in public amongst the team principals. We've got people threatening to leave the sport by not signing the Concord Agreement. Protests, counter-protests, appeals. We've literally had it all on this weekend, which has made a very, very fun weekend for me. We've not been short of things to talk about, and I'm going to try and take you through this weekend in this video as to what it's like to be a Formula One commentator. So the on-track action may have finished hours and hours ago, but Saturday night for me will be spent just reading through some of the team's statements, looking at driver quotes, team quotes, seeing if there's any nuggets of information that I can pick up from that post-qualifying that might help me out tomorrow, that might be useful to bring into commentary. I will have another look through the sporting regulations, which sounds incredibly dull. I have read them all, believe me, on a number of occasions. I read them all coming into the weekend from top to bottom, but I will just refresh the race section just to make sure that I know what happens if we get something like a red flag. Those are procedures that deep down I probably do know, but I just want to make sure that they're right at the forefront of my mind if I need them during commentary. I'm not having to flash through scraps of paper or dig out the file on the computer whilst I'm continuously talking on the mic, trying to bring listeners of the show up to speed with what's happening. So things like red flags, things like aborted starts, those kind of unusual procedures that can easily catch a commentator out. I just want to make sure that I've got them, they're right here, and I can bring them out whenever I need them. Morning folks, it is race day and I am excited. I am doing a couple of laps just on the home simulator just for fun really, but also just to get my eye in, just to make sure I'm completely familiar with the circuit, that I'm calling the circuit, the corner names as I go round, just to make sure, same sort of thing, that I'm utterly familiar with the driver's view. So if you get an onboard shot, I know which part of the circuit that is immediately when that screen, when that angle on the camera flashes up. It's important. I've also flicked through some of the footage from the weekend as well, just to get the different camera positions that are situated around the circuit, so that when we do flash to a new camera angle, instantly I know which part of the circuit that is. Because if you don't, there could be a delay where you work it out in your head and it just sounds a bit weird. So familiarisation, I'm going to call it work, but actually I'm having a lot of fun as well. So arrived here at the studios. I've got to pop the mask on in a moment, but I'm going to take you inside the building, into the studio, show you how we all get set up and what the place is like, what sort of equipment we've got there to use. Hopefully give you a little taste of what it's like to be a commentator for a day.
Am I going to be in your vlog?
So, here we are. This is our little studio. That'll be where I sit, and then Jolyon will be the other side of the divider, and then through the glass, through there, that's where the producer, sound man, that's where all the magic happens, the tech that makes the show go to air. But in here we've got all sorts of screens. I'll put my own laptop down here in a moment, but I've got timing screens from FOM, from Formula One, got the FOM feed, so the TV pictures. We've also got TV feeds as well in case one of these goes down. All the kind of technology and information that we need at our fingertips. That's the kind of control unit where our headphones plug in, and I can talk to people like Paddy, the producer. I can talk back to the guys through there, the other side of the glass. We can hear obviously the sound coming in from FOM, so the sound from the cars, the onboard feeds. We can hear Jenny Gow, who will be reporting for us. Andrew Benson, also reporting from the circuit at Silverstone. He's the BBC's chief F1 writer. So all of those feeds coming into that little box and then into my headphones, so that if somebody wants to say something, I can be prompted by the producer and throw to them.
Good morning, sir.
Hello. So this is Pete, and this is
Hi.
This is Pete's kit. Look at all that lot.
My empire.
Do you honestly know what every one of these buttons does?
No. and I'll tell you something interesting. Neither does anybody else.
Well, it looks impressive anyway. It looks like a cockpit of an aeroplane or something.
And it's got 6 layers and an A and B bank, so it can be as big as like the whole floor.
Amazing. Overcomplicated like Formula 1, I love it. Basically, Pete's in here watching football all day.
Chinese Super League.
So that's Pete, and this is where Paddy will sit. This is the producer's desk, and he can see us because we'll be through that side of the glass, through there, myself and Jodian. So there we go, that's basically how the whole thing works. Cool, isn't it? So pretty much set up. I've got my own laptop now set up next to me, and on there I've got things like the sporting regs that are open on one particular tab. I've got various stat packs which are really useful. Formula 1 send out a really good package that gives you little stats about this particular event, and this weekend we've also got stats around the 70 years of Formula 1, which are really nice, useful little details to be able to drop in. For example, that there have been 33 Formula 1 world champions. I've just got to find another cable, an HDMI, to link up the top screen so I can have another page permanently open there for quick reference. I'm going to go and find one of those, and hopefully in this tough times of COVID-19 where the canteen I think here is shut, I'm going to try and find a coffee. So Palmer's turned up at 5 minutes before we were due to go on air. We've just done a show for 5 Live, quick broadcast with Jenny Gow. Now we're into sandwiches, and we've got about an hour and a half before the race starts, which I'm really looking forward to. I think it's going to be a great race. Palmer, predictions for today?
Be a good race. Hamilton's going to charge behind Bottas. I think he might sneak it. And the rest of it's going to be mayhem. Tune in to our radio coverage.
I'm going to go Verstappen for the win.
Oh, blimey.
Lots to come then. It is 2:10 here in the UK. You're listening to BBC Radio 5 Live, and this is the 70th Anniversary Grand Prix. Right, let me take you through the grid then ahead of today's race. It's Valtteri Bottas in front on pole position with his teammate Lewis Hamilton alongside him. It's Hülkenberg behind him in third. Max Verstappen's next. Daniel Ricciardo and Lance Stroll make up the third row.
Now, last week it was a one-stopper. We've got a softer range of tyres right now, but Verstappen maybe will have an eye on a one-stop, whereas most people are going to have to do a two-stop. We know how it ended last week on a one-stop. It was messy. There were tyre failures. But there's a few drivers outside of the top 10 as well who've copied Verstappen's starting tyre. Vettel, Sainz and Grosjean, I think, starting on the hard tyre. Daniel Kvyat as well. So there's a few that might try and make it on a one. It'll be interesting to see.
It really will. That's definitely one to watch. The battle between the two Mercedes as well could get very feisty. In fact, it really needs to get feisty if we're going to keep Valtteri Bottas ahead of Lewis Hamilton and keep his championship alive. Lewis comes round then following Valtteri Bottas. The two black Mercedes exiting the final corner, slowly winding their way towards their grid slots. Let's get an update from Jenny Gow. Raikkonen rolls into position. The green flag is waved. The 5 red lights come on. And they go out, and we're racing at Silverstone. It's a good start from Bottas and from Hamilton, neck and neck, but Bottas holds the lead through the first corner. The right-hander of Abbey, Verstappen, up to third place on the hard tyre. We thought he might struggle off the line, but he hasn't. He's got past Nico Hülkenberg. Daniel Ricciardo up the inside of Hülkenberg, challenging for that fourth, but Hülkenberg holds on. It's Hülkenberg from Ricciardo. Now Lance Stroll in the second pink Racing Point gets up behind his teammate of Hülkenberg, but it's both Mercedes out front. Lewis Hamilton challenging Valtteri Bottas. Bottas with the inside as they go through Brooklands. Still in the lead then. It is Bottas from Hamilton, but Hamilton all over the back, Jolyon.
This could get racy now. Bottas squirming on the throttle out of Luffield corner. Hamilton putting huge pressure on him down to Cox, but surely not an overtaking chance, and Bottas has just held on lap 1.
Out of club, onto the start-finish straight. And it's Max Verstappen, the unlikely winner of Formula One's 70th Anniversary Grand Prix in the Red Bull. What a drive, what a race. Lewis Hamilton brings it in second in the Mercedes, with his teammate Valtteri Bottas in the sister Mercedes coming home third. Well, Jolyon, that is not the result that we thought we were going to get, but what a race.
What a race it was. Great race. Who saw that coming? I certainly didn't. From 4th on the grid, Max Verstappen wins the Grand Prix. Mark Priestley, you saw that coming. You made that prediction pre-Grand Prix, but I think even you must be surprised with that one. Cracking job.
Nice one, mate.
That was really good. Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. Well, it makes it a lot easier when you got all that to talk about.
Yeah, yeah.
Brilliant, wasn't it?
Nice to have a good race, but that was really... I enjoyed that, Coms.
Yeah, great. Oh. God, you're knackered at the end of it, aren't you? Well, I am absolutely exhausted, which sounds ridiculous because it's not like I've done a really hard day's work. It's not even a long day's work. But you're so focused in for such a long period of time, or at least I was, perhaps because it was my first time doing this as lead commentator on Formula One, but I honestly loved every single second of it. My head hurts, partly because of straining to focus and concentrate for so long, partly because having a set of headphones clamped onto your head for that long is painful. I've been doing Formula E races up to now, which are only 45 minutes long. Much easier. But there we go. An amazing experience. Very, very proud to have been able to do it. Very grateful to have been able to do it. And what a great race we had. It's easy, I guess, to commentate on something like this when there was so much happening and we got such a brilliantly unexpected result, even though I called it. But yeah, just feeling very happy, feeling very relieved that it seemed to go well from my part. And I just want to do it again. I could do it again. Love it. Hope you enjoyed the journey along with me. We'll be back with more normal stuff at some point later this week. But that was a day in the life of a Formula One commentator, even if only as a one-off supply teacher.